Welcome to Dash Players, the channel where gaming comes first. Here we explore everything gaming related, from handheld consoles to full-size consoles like PS4, PS5 and Xbox, to PC gaming and essential accessories. Whether you're into unboxing, game reviews, first impressions or hardware deep dives, you'll find it all right here. We're starting our journey with a strong focus on handhelds, but as we grow, you can expect a broader content covering the entire gaming ecosystem. If gaming's your thing, consider subscribing and joining the Dash Player community to support the channel. Now, let's get into today's video. So full transparency, I already unboxed the Switch 2 off camera. My phone battery died during filming, so I'm really sorry about that. I still want to walk you through everything that was inside the box and give you my first impressions. Before we jump into the console itself, let me show you what came in the box and a few things you should know if you're buying the same version that I did. So I went with the Mario Kart edition of the Nintendo Switch 2, and here's the strange part. This version was actually cheaper than the standalone console without any bundle. If anyone knows why that is, feel free to leave it in the comments below, because honestly, I found it a bit unusual. Now, if you're like me and prefer physical cartridges over digital downloads, let me save you the disappointment. The Mario Kart included in this bundle is not a physical copy. It's just an eShop code, digital downloads. Unfortunately, that was definitely a letdown for me. Even though I'm not a huge Mario Kart fan myself, I was still expecting the actual cartridge in the box. So let's talk about the setup. I've got two important tips for anyone getting this console, and one of them is actually a warning. When you first power on the Switch 2, you will get a pop-up asking if you want to transfer the data from your original Nintendo Switch. Yeah, so do not skip this step. And I have to repeat this one. Do not skip this step, because if you skip it, you won't get another chance to transfer everything over. This is a one-time prompt during the initial setup. To complete the transfer, both consoles will need to be connected to Wi-Fi or to LAN. In the case of the Nintendo Switch 2, plugged into the power, logged into the same Nintendo account, and most importantly, kept in the same room. They don't have to be touching. You're gonna get a prompt saying that, but they don't have to be that close to one another. As long as they are in the same room, there's no walls in between, then you should be fine. So as long as you follow the on-screen instructions carefully, it's a smooth process. As long as you do it the first time you're asked. So without further ado, let me tell you what to expect to find in this box. So to summarize, these are the items that will come in your box. You have the console, the Joy-Cons, the dock, the HDMI charger, and the manuals. You're also gonna have these two things that I assume you're gonna use them if you want to use the Joy-Cons as a mouse. There will be some games that will make use of those. Personally, I'm not a really big fan of those for the time being. Let's see what the future brings. Now let's start with the main star of the box, the Nintendo Switch 2 console itself. Right away, the build feels solid, slightly thinner than the original Switch, with noticeably slimmer bezels around the screen. The display looks gorgeous even before powering it on. You can tell it's, I think it's OLED or enhanced in some way. There's a matte texture on the back that gives it a more premium, less toy-like feel compared to the earlier models. The port placement and the ventilation are similar, but the whole design feels more refined overall. And seeing it side by side, you can see how much bigger it's the Nintendo Switch 2 compared to the original model. Next up, the new Joy-Cons. At first glance, they look very similar to the originals, minus the vibrant colors and toy-like feel and look. By in hand, they actually feel sturdier. The buttons have a sharper, cleaner click, and the thumbsticks feel tighter, more responsive. That's good. Alright, let's fire this thing on. You're greeted with the classic Nintendo logo. Clean, simple, nostalgic as always. From here, the setup process kicks in, the language selection pops up, Wi-Fi, time zone, the linking to your Nintendo accounts. As I said earlier, I already did mine. So the interface already feels faster. That's good. Animations are smoother and there's much less lag between inputs. It's a noticeable improvement from the original Switch. Even just navigating the menus feels more responsive. Now, let's explore the interface. Everything will feel familiar if you've used the Switch before, but it's more refined. Menu transitions are faster, loading times are snappier, and touch controls are more accurate. There aren't a ton of major user interface changes, but you definitely feel the performance bump here, especially if you're coming from an older unit. Let's test it with an actual game. I'm having some of my original Switch games right here, so let's try Monster Hunter. As it can be seen, it loads fast, like noticeably faster than what I'm used to. No waiting around, just jump right in. Gameplay smooth, no frame drops, no lag. Colors, they absolutely pop up on the display. It's brighter, more vibrant, perfect for handheld mode. That's good. Now that I've had a few minutes to play, let me give you a quick feel on how it performs. The screen is beautiful. It's bright, sharp, responsive to the touch. So playing in handheld mode feels more immersive thanks to the bigger display and thinner bezels. The Joy-Cons are a big plus here too. They're tighter, the buttons feel clickier, and the thumbsticks have a better grip. Whether you're playing docked or handheld, this setup just feels solid. So if you're someone who uses handheld mode a lot, you'll definitely appreciate the improved ergonomics. The dock. Now let's talk about the dock. It has a more minimal polished design. The lines are cleaner and it feels sturdier with better grip at the base. On the back, you'll notice improved cable management and additional ventilation, which should help with the heat dissipation during longer play sessions. Um, you also have an added LAN port built right into the dock, so that's a nice upgrade for anyone who plays online competitively. Uh, Other than that, um, you have the HDMI and the charger in the box. In the accessories compartments, you'll find them both. Both feel solid. Thankfully, the power brick still supports fast charging, so you can plug it directly into the wall and use it through the dock. Nothing too fancy here. These are the essentials, but it's good to see Nintendo still including them in the box. Not unlike the phone companies. And finally, at the bottom of the box, you'll find the usual manuals and paperwork. It includes the start guide, safety info, and in my case, the Mario Kart eShop download code. As mentioned earlier, no physical cartridges was included. There's not much to read here, but if you're new to the Switch, the setup guide is simple and clear, perfect if this is your first Nintendo system. So, what are my first impressions? Honestly, I'm impressed. This isn't a full-blown traditional leap, but it's a small, well-thought-out upgrade. The screen is a standout, performance is noticeably faster, and even small things like Joy-Con improvements and dock quality add up. Now, a few things did surprise me, both good and bad. First, the battery life. There have been some early reports that the battery on the Switch 2 doesn't last quite as long as the original OLED model. I haven't tested it fully myself yet, but we'll cover it in more detail in an upcoming video. Especially when we test it with the demanding titles such as Cyberpunk 2077, which is now available for the Switch 2. We'll also be comparing performance side by side with the Steam Deck. So if you're curious about the real world performance of this console, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, a few cons worth mentioning. One major concern is the Joy-Con connector. The system that attaches the Joy-Cons to the console still feels a little fragile. If you accidentally knock the Joy-Con or drop the console while the Joy-Cons are attached, there's a real risk the connector could break, so be extra careful when docking or undocking them. It's not the most durable setup in my opinion. Another issue, the docking station itself. The interior, whilst it looks good, the finish is glossy and shiny, and honestly, it just doesn't make any sense outside of an aesthetic purpose, whilst the console is still new. A matte interior would have been a far more practical solution here. The overall dock design hasn't changed much, and that's disappointing. No real innovation here. So if you're using a grip with your Nintendo Switch, or you're planning on using it, you'll likely have to remove it every time you want to dock the console. Unless we're gonna get a grip that's specifically dock compatible, because that gets annoying fast. If you're a first-time Switch owner, you're getting the best possible version right now. If you're upgrading from a launch model or Switch Lite, you'll definitely notice the jump in quality. But if you already own Switch OLED, this may feel more like a refinement than must-have upgrade. Still a strong option if you want the latest and the best, but this is just something to keep in mind. More performance tests are coming soon, so including frame rate comparisons, docked versus handheld gameplay, and battery drain during long play sessions. So make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.